How's it going tonight, guys? My name's Jacob Haugh, and I'm here with
Shayne Williamson.
And you're on Jay and Shays Sports for Dummies, checking in with our second week. We had a little bit of mishap last time. We're back with you after basically a week skipped of sports, and we're sorry that we missed you last time. But we're gonna be hitting you with quick hits this time. We're gonna stick to football and basketball. Those are our bread and butter right now.
Yep.
And we're gonna build off of those. So today we're gonna hit you with the NFL, Shayne. We're gonna hit you with NCAA football.
Right.
And then we're going to go in a little bit more of your flavor, which is NCAA basketball.
Shout out to the Heels.
Oh, my, yes, sir. We got a Heels podcast. And then we also have NBA basketball, which is something you love.
Yep.
And it's not my cup of tea, but we're all learning here. So, like I said, it's for dummies.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it, all right? Week 10. So I've got our records from our first picks, and Shayne beat me, guys. Shayne beat me in our first round of picks, and there was a couple. He was lucky, you know, and that's why we're gonna pick some games again. Your record week 8 was 12-3, and I was 10-5. You got 2 games better than me. Let's start out with tonight's game: Chargers and Raiders. Who you got and why?
Give me Oakland. Oakland's just playing much better football right now, and I think that Darren Waller is gonna have a big day against that linebacker core and for Los Angeles, and it's in Oakland. Raiders by double digits.
I'm going to have to say Raiders as well, my good sir. I don't see Phillip Rivers going off against this defense, and I see Josh Jacobs having a good game.
Yeah, he's really good.
Give me the Giants over the Jets. I don't know why it took me so long to give you that answer, but good old Ghostbuster at quarterback. Adam Gase is having a very bad second opportunity.
Yeah.
You feel bad for him, but then at the same time, he kind of gutted the foundation that was laid for him as a head coach.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why he got that job in the first place, because the Jets had a front row seat to the Dolphins' suckage for his 3-year reign as a head coach, and was like, yeah, that's our guy. Yeah, he's bad. The Cowboys losing to the Jets is so weird. But Giants
yeah, that was awkward.
Saquon Barkley goes off.
Falcons Saints. We don't need to talk about this one. This is all in New Orleans all the way.
Yeah, Drew Brees, big day.
Titans Chiefs. I like Tannehill in this game. I think people are underestimating Tannehill. The numbers that he's been putting up are ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's been throwing the ball at a ridiculous clip. He's been playing very well. He's been playing good football. Does Matt Moore have a better supporting cast, or can Tannehill get the job done at quarterback? What do you think?
I think, well, all eyes are going to be on the Chiefs' quarterback situation. Patrick Mahomes is supposed to be a game-time decision.
Yeah.
He's day-to-day at the moment. If he plays, I think the Chiefs win, and I also think if he doesn't play, the Chiefs win. They beat the Vikings last week, so they proved they can beat good teams without Pat. I think they win either way.
It's in Tennessee. Does that play a role?
Not really.
All right, I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. I just wanted to test you there. Bengals, Ravens. A little battle of the broadcasters here.
Boy.
But the Ravens will whoop up on these Bengals and Paul Brown. I mean, they don't have the Raven killer, A.J. Green. They just announced today that he will not play.
Thank God.
And a lot of Ravens fans don't like A.J. Green just because how many touchdowns he scores against y'all whenever he plays. But one thing I've noticed is that this Bengals team, whether or not they lose, because I can't say whether or not they win or lose.
Yeah,
but
been all losses.
Whether or not they lose, this team doesn't have a quit in them. They're not getting blown out.
They fight.
They fight. And I want to see what Finley does, but Finley's not going to match Lamar Jackson. Give me the Ravens 34-20.
I like it by even more than that. I think the Ravens. I like what I've been hearing out of Baltimore this week, which is not overlooking this team at all. So
yes, that's smart.
I think they stay focused. They know Cincinnati has been a team that's had their number perhaps more than any team in the division over the past, decade. So I think Baltimore wins huge.
Bills, Browns. This is an intriguing game. Who do you got?
I'm done picking the Browns for the rest of the year. You hear me? I didn't even pick the Browns the last time we had a podcast. But I said it would be interesting, and it was not even remotely interesting.
Well, that's because of Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb at the beginning of that game, you can't fumble the football. That game would have been a lot closer. Chubb was going off. He just fumbled the football.
He had a chance to set the tone. He literally fumbled it away. But I think the Bills win. I think it'll be close. That game will be like, it'll be a dumpster fire. It won't be entertaining to watch, but the Bills will win.
I really want to pick the Browns, but it's like putting your hand in a cookie jar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like putting your hand in a bear trap. Like, it's just, give me the Bills by 2 points. Cardinals, Buccaneers, Kyler Murray, Jameis Winston, Bruce Arians gets to play against the Cardinals. They're playing in Tampa Bay. Who do you like? You like Kyler Murray? You like Jameis Winston?
I like Kyler here. I just think Kyler is less susceptible to mistakes than Jameis. Jameis perhaps has the big play.
He has the better upside right now.
Yeah,
but the potential is all in Kyler Murray's corner.
Yeah, so I think Kyler limits his mistakes. Jameis turns the ball over 2-3 times, and I think the Cardinals win by 3.
Okay. I'm gonna pick the Bucks, and here's why. Jameis Winston has had an on and off year.
Yep.
And he just had a rough loss against the Seahawks. I think that Jameis Winston pulls this one out. This is his contract year. You gotta win a game like this. You can't lose this game at home. Kyler Murray's gonna make it close though. They're gonna win by 3. I got Jameis Winston in this one, throwing an interception, but Shaquille Barrett gets a hold of Kyler Murray twice.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yes, he is. Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my, we got a game. Lions and Bears, who do you got in Chicago?
Lions. Mitch Trubisky is terrible.
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know how many times I got to tell you how bad Mitch Trubisky is.
Awful.
And the fact that the Bengals started Ryan Finley and didn't give Dalton a chance to go play in Chicago,
right?
I'm a little disappointed just because I wanted to see what Dalton could do in a better system and something that's ready to go now,
right?
Because they're healthy. But I definitely have to give the edge to the Lions. Stafford can handle this defense and score at least 17 points. But the problem is, Mitchell Trubisky can't score 17 points.
Big fat 0 on the board. Let this be a reminder that they traded up to take this guy over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, my goodness.
Great job, guys.
A great GM. That he deserves
you killed it there,
a
buddy.
raise. Dolphins at the Colts. I think Fitzmagic has a day and loses in Indianapolis. I think Fitzmagic has shown that he can play quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he does have streaks, and I don't think he's good.
Right, no.
But he's given these young guys something to fight for, you know? They're going from 0-7 to, oh my goodness, we won a game, Gatorade shower, okay? Like,
that was a bit wild to see.
I was sitting with a Dolphins fan. Shout out to Darnell back home. When we were watching this Dolphins game last week, and it's hard to watch those fans because every single time we were watching the game and the clock's ticking down, I said, "You're up by 2 scores with 2 minutes left." He goes, "Oh, they'll find a way to lose."
Oh, for sure.
And it was funny, it was comical, but the Jets, oh my gosh, it was bad. It was a bad game. Dolphins beat the Jets. I don't think they get the Colts this weekend. Jacoby Brissett, whether or not he plays, doesn't matter. The Colts are going to win this football game.
Well, I think the Colts are an interesting team because they're a team that plays up and down to their competition.
Yes, they do.
There's really no reason for them to have lost to Pittsburgh last week with or without Jacoby Brissett. But
good old laces.
They did
good
anyway.
Old laces.
Yeah, it kills them every time. But I'll take the Colts here, but it'll be much closer than it has any right to be.
Panthers, Packers in Lambeau. Kyle Allen against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers coming off being electrified by the Chargers, pun intended. I mean, that game was painful.
Yeah.
I didn't see Aaron Rodgers get stopped like that for a long time.
It was rough.
And it was mainly a home game for him in Los Angeles, and that's with any away team.
Yeah.
But Kyle Allen coming into Lambeau, and Lambeau's cold right now. There's snow in Lambeau. You got to give the edge to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think the Packers were asleep last week. I don't think they were sipping their Kool-Aid a little bit, not really buying into how dangerous the Chargers are, especially with that defensive line, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. They caused havoc last week. I think they focus up and they blow the Panthers out of the stadium this week.
Out of the stadium? Out of the entire stadium?
Out of the entire stadium.
Okay.
Right back to Carolina.
What I think is the most intriguing, not the best, the most intriguing game. The Rams travel all the way to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers in Heinz Field. Who you got, Rudolph or Goff?
Give me Los Angeles. I have a vested interest in this game because we have the Bengals this week, we being the Ravens. And if the Steelers lose this week, then the division's basically wrapped up because that would be a 3-game lead for Baltimore. So I think Jared Goff comes in. He has a good day. Jalen Ramsey takes away Juju Smith-Schuster, leaving Mason with no other options. Aaron Donald tees off. Rams win big.
I think you're forgetting about one thing.
What's that?
Minka Fitzpatrick.
He's been good.
He has been better than good. He is the reason why this defense has clicked. This is what I like to call the first rounders. And Bud Dupree, I have said his name so many times about how terrible of a pick he was for 2 years or 3 years, however many he's been in the league. And it is his contract year, and he is playing out of his mind.
Contract year is undefeated.
Yes. Give me the Steelers. Okay? By 7. Vikings, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. This is your game of the week.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you talk on it. Go ahead.
I think Minnesota is going to be heated that they lost to Kansas City. That should have been a freebie with Matt Moore under center. I don't think it matters much. I think Dallas comes out. Their offense has been really good. Dak Prescott has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league thus far. After they took the handcuffs off of him, he's been able to go downfield. He's been doing it successfully. I think the Cowboys win by 7 points.
I have the Vikings winning this football game. And here's why.
Okay.
The Cowboys cannot handle Diggs and Thielen at the same time.
Sure.
I don't see their defensive backs being able to handle that. And Dalvin Cook, oh my goodness, has he been playing some great football.
Right.
He leads the NFL in rushing, and no one's talking about him. Expect him to have a 100-yard game and a touchdown in there.
Sure.
And I see whether or not you like to think about it, I don't know if Michael Bennett's going to be a factor yet. He's got to fit into that scheme. But I'm giving it to the Vikings by a field goal. Most of these games this weekend are going to be close, except for maybe 2 or 3. And then my game of the week, Monday Night Football, Seahawks at the 49ers. MVP candidate Russell Wilson goes in to San Francisco and pulls out the victory and knocks them off from being undefeated. That's what I have.
I agree.
I think Russell Wilson can get away from Bosa. I think he can.
Yeah.
Bosa hasn't faced anybody other than Kyler Murray, and you saw what happened. You saw what happened. Kyler Murray got away from that rush. Russell Wilson is better than Kyler Murray.
Yep.
And he can throw the ball farther than Kyler Murray. If I wanted to pick somebody to stop this 49ers team, it would be Russell Wilson. And they're going to win this game by 14 points.
Well, I think it'll be a single-digit game. I think Russ will have the ball last, and they'll score because that's what Russell Wilson does. He's been doing it for, 7 years now? He's built for this. San Francisco haven't really played an offense as good as this one. They lose in a valiant effort.
All right, we're going to check in with the NFL after this week. We're going to check in with the NFL on the next podcast, and we'll talk to you about what happened and who's leading this pick race. Because I think we picked pretty similar in this week. Last week we contradicted ourselves, but I think I learned my lesson.
You're right.
But here we go. NCAA football.
Yeah.
Ohio State, number 1.
Nonsense.
I don't think they deserve that.
No.
Me personally, I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. But I think Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers have definitely earned the right to be number 1 in the nation.
You know, last podcast I came in here and trumpeted Joe Burrow. That's my Heisman pick so far. But call me old school, I guess. But I'm of the belief that Clemson and Alabama should still be 1-2. They were 1-2 coming into the season.
Whoa.
They were the best 2 teams last year.
You can't almost lose to the Tar Heels in football.
Why not?
And expect to be the 2nd team in the nation. That is ridiculous.
Blow out every team you play.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
You have the talent. You have the talent.
Sure.
You have the talent.
When you're the defending national champions, with still a true sophomore quarterback, you're going to get every team's best shot. You're not going to blow every team
That's
out.
a great point. But what I'm saying is Clemson versus North Carolina. If I told you that was a 1-point game 3 months ago, you would have said I was crazy and I belonged on the wackadoo bus.
I mean, no. If you look back at Clemson's past 3 years, which has been their dynasty years, they have had a game like this every year where they lose or almost lose to a team they have no business losing to. And then what do they do come playoff time? They dominate. So I think it doesn't really matter that they're 5 right now because LSU and Bama both play each other, and so do Ohio State and Penn State. They're going to make the playoffs.
This becomes the conundrum of if LSU or Alabama loses to one another, which will happen.
Yep.
There's no ties in college football.
Nope, thankfully.
Oh my goodness, that would make AP polls crazy. Do they stay in the top 4?
Depends. If Alabama loses, I think they do find a way to sneak into the playoff.
I think that's on credibility as a program. I don't think that's anything they've earned. You know what I'm saying? And I think with LSU, if they lose to Alabama, they don't make it to the playoffs.
Nah.
LSU, Alabama, who you got? Sorry, that was a major key alert right there. That's what just dropped on the table. That's a major key alert. What's the major key in this football game? Who is going to win this football game? LSU or Alabama? Game is in Alabama.
I think LSU goes into Tuscaloosa. Big game. They've been on a losing streak to Bama since 2011, which was the last game of the century. I think LSU wins. The key will be LSU's receivers versus Bama's secondary, and then Bama's receivers versus LSU secondary. I think whoever wins that battle on both sides will win the day, and I think LSU's receivers are much better than Bama's secondary, and I think that Derek Stingley Jr. will have a good day against whoever they put him in front of, and LSU will win by, let's say, 10 points.
I'm going to pick Alabama. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that being is experience. Joe Burrow hasn't been to a national championship. Joe Burrow hasn't won a national championship.
Sure.
Tua has played in plenty of these huge SEC games, and he's won them.
Yeah.
He's going to win again this weekend by 3. Mm-hmm. We have another matchup coming up this weekend. That's a ranked matchup. Just talk about it real quick. Two teams that got knocked out of the top 10. Iowa, Wisconsin. Who do you got?
Give me Iowa. I don't believe in Wisconsin much anymore. That quarterback situation's a mess.
All right, and then the last game of the week we want to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and go with Wisconsin in that game. But give me Penn State losing. I'm just kidding. I'm going to pick Penn State over top of Minnesota. Got to keep that key away from me, man. Penn State hasn't shown me greatness this year, but they've always been consistent.
Right. Yeah.
And Minnesota hasn't. You know, they've been consistent throughout the year picking up wins, but there's little inconsistencies throughout their play that have kept them from being great.
Right.
And that's why I think Penn State goes into Minnesota and wins this football game. This is a trap game this weekend. Be careful, Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I think Minnesota will make it close. Penn State wins late.
All right. Moving on to your forte, which is basketball. We're going to start with NCAA basketball. Duke wins its first game against Kansas. Initial thoughts?
One of the ugliest games I've seen in a long time. Bunch of turnovers from both. But Trey Jones, he came back, and he's still a defensive stopper he was last year. It remains to be seen who is going to step up for Duke. It looked to be Matthew Hurt in the first game, but they have some other guys, Cassius Stanley namely, who could step up, so it'll be interesting to see who steps up for them. Kansas, I'm not sure who will be their go-to scorer this year. That game was gross. It was gross to see.
Moving on to some other scores here. Michigan State, Kentucky. Oh, my goodness. Kentucky pulls out this victory. If you're Cassius Winston, you got to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think...
Is that the word? I mean, it's the first game of the year. We can't overreact. And they all play in this huge bracket, and nothing is predictable. You can't really predict college basketball.
Right.
Because they're not grown men. And this year's going to be a little bit more boring and dry than people think, because it's not, oh my gosh, let me turn on my TV, there's Zion Williamson doing a 360.
There's no Zion this year.
And everyone's just like, meh. You know? And that's what I think of Duke. That's what I think of some of these different teams. Like Michigan State, they'll probably end up at like a 9 or a 10 this year. And the reason for that is they're going to have to play a bunch of these big games. Nothing's going to be given for, I'd say, the top 10 teams in the NCAA and Division I period, because those teams lose trap games all the time because they're young. What is that called? Immature men who have not done this before. They're all freshmen because they all want to go to the league and they all want to make money. UNC beats Notre Dame. That's no surprise. Ohio State beats Cincinnati. There wasn't really anything interesting except for the fact that Virginia put up 48 points in a win. That's your national champion right there.
That team so much.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just take a time to recognize that Cole Anthony, who is North Carolina's star freshman point guard, scored as many points as Syracuse's whole team did. They both scored 34 points. That's nuts.
Wow. I did not know that stat before tonight, but that Cole Anthony did have a very good game. I didn't know that he scored 34. I knew he scored 30, but a college basketball game totaling under 100 points is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Both these teams have things to work on, and I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia drops.
Virginia plays anti-basketball.
Yes, they do. They play defense, and then if you can't get the ball in the hoop, you run back and play defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Virginia's style of play. I don't. I can't get behind it. But that's it. That's all we have for right now for NCAA men's basketball. We'll keep it updated throughout the year.
Right.
Now I'm going to move to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In the NBA, you have to mention, other than their loss last night, the Sixers are playing out of their mind.
Yeah, their defense is really good. I like to call them the Pelican-based Sixers because they will put your team in jail. Big news out of Philly, though. Ben Simmons is going to miss the next 3 games at least with a shoulder sprain. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, though. Raul Neto, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but adjacent to, will fill in admirably at the point guard spot, and I think they will keep rolling, including this Friday in Denver. I think they smashed Denver. I think, for my money, they've been the best team in the league, but the Lakers and the Clippers both have a good claim to that as well.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you about some games tonight. You're just going to give me some answers, alrighty?
Mm-hmm.
Just going to let you do the quick hits here. Celtics, Hornets.
Celtics. Kemba Walker goes off against his former team.
Thunder, Spurs.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cooks San Antonio, but they lose.
Heat, Suns. I like this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Suns are surprising people already.
Really
but
good.
Oh my goodness. The amount of talent you didn't expect out of the Heat, it is. And then did you see that dunk?
Yeah.
Oh
Jones
my
Jr. He has like springs loaded in his legs. He's nuts.
And it's not like he dunks the ball in a traditional fashion.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people who throws it in the net.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So high, he has to literally just throw it in there.
Give me the Suns.
Yeah, I like.
And they don't even have Ayton yet.
Yeah, I like Devin Booker a lot, but I think that Jimmy Butler plays well and Tyler Hero goes for 20 plus. Heat win.
Trailblazers at the Clippers. Who you got?
Kawhi's back tonight. There's been a lot of fuss about load management. Listen, it got Toronto a championship last year. Stop whining about it. And I think they win tonight in Portland. They've been struggling. No big men, no wings. I think Kawhi goes off.
All right, we're going to go to our leaders of the conferences right now. I just want your initial thoughts about each leader and whether or not, obviously this is 7 games, 10 games into the season.
Right.
So you can't really go off of what you see right now, but these are the teams in the front right now. In the Eastern Conference, your top 2 are the Celtics and Bucks. I'd expect the Bucks, but the Celtics, Gordon Hayward, he's back.
He's back. I gave him a reprieve last year because when you do that to your ankle, you're not going to come back and play well the first year. People forget, but Paul George, when he came back, he played like the last 10 games of the season. The year he snapped his leg in half, and he wasn't
the same player.
Yeah, he wasn't the same player. He came back the next year. He was really good. So Gordon Hayward's doing the same thing right now.
Los Angeles Lakers, Dallas Mavericks. They put on a show in that game this past weekend.
LeBron James, still the best player in the league.
I can sort of get behind that. That's a can of worms for another time. I think AD and LeBron are the best duo in the entire National Basketball Association.
For sure.
And that's because of AD's size. None of these other duos have a center like that.
Nope.
They don't. And how athletic AD is a problem. Because there's not centers that play basketball like he does. The way he's so fluid with his movements and he can get up to the rim. Most of these guys can only rebound or dish it back out, but his ability to dribble, get to the rim, and put the ball in the hoop is unmatched.
Yeah, and he can shoot 40 points, 20 rebounds in 3 quarters early last week. That's simply unheard of.
And also, their bench is playing really good.
They
Start Caruso. I'm just kidding.
They led their comeback against the Bulls last night. They were down as many as 19 in the second half, and that bench led them back, and LeBron James and AD put it home.
Who do you think's winning the Western Conference this year?
Well, regular season, I think the Lakers will have the best record. And then in the playoffs, I think the Lakers will also go to the finals.
Eastern Conference, who you got?
Give me Philly. You can call me a homer if you want, but that defense will be a problem for everyone they face in the postseason. Give
me the Knicks. I'm just kidding. Gotta stop doing that. No, give me... Oh, gosh. I'm going to skip the Eastern Conference for now because I'm looking at all these names. I'm just like, oh, my goodness. There's a lot of the Spurs talent. I think I think you get the LA matchup you want in the playoffs. I think you do.
Yep.
And I think Bron and AD take the first round of that. And I think they win the Battle of LA, and the Lakers move on to the NBA Finals. Right now, I'm stuck between the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
Just because the Bucks have the best supporting cast of anyone in the NBA, other than the 76ers.
Right.
And the Bucks have such a strong bench and starting five that you don't see a very, very, like, if I were to hop on the court and I looked at their team, all right, we're going to put a mismatch here. That doesn't happen with the Bucks. It also doesn't happen with the 76ers. They've gotten replacements for certain players. I think I like how this offense works without Butler. I think it's more of a teammate-oriented type of ball, and you can work the ball through Simmons and Embiid. I think that the 76ers, I hate agreeing with you. I hate agreeing with you. I think the 76ers make the NBA Finals, but get handled 4-2 against the Lakers, and the Lakers win the NBA Finals.
Nah, Philly, if Philly and Los Angeles play, Philly will be far too big for them. JaVale McGee can't play against them. Dwight Howard cannot play against
Dwight Howard has been playing very good basketball. We don't want to forget that.
He's not guarding Al Horford or Joel Embiid.
I mean, you're correct.
In the NBA Finals. So I think that size will be an issue. Joel has a history playing well against AD as well. So
they all got to be healthy.
Sure.
That's the number one thing with the NBA. They all got to be healthy. So your pick to win it all is your favorite team.
Yeah.
76ers.
Yep.
So you heard it here first tonight, guys. The NFL, NCAA football, NBA, and NCAA basketball. We're probably going to add a sport next week just to keep you guys updated. And remember, this is Jay and Shay Sports for Dummies. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you next Thursday. You guys have a great week.